Hi guys, how are you all today morning? Good morning. Today is 22nd February 2024. My name is TSV Raghavan and I live in Chennai, Tamil Nadu, India. This is my spiritual vlog on YouTube. Hardan, 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 Haribol, TSV Nectar, NECTAR, nectar. In this particular vlog, in all my previous videos, we have been trying to study, discuss, and analyze all the knowledge and information that we have gleaned through the study of spiritual books, scriptures, contemplation on the material universe, and meditation on the spiritual universe. This particular video in this vlog is no exception to that rule. In fact, it is a mere continuation of all that we have been trying to do in all of my previous videos. Kindly subscribe to this vlog and press the bell icon so that I may keep reminding you of all my previous, present, and future videos. Sorry. So let us continue with the topic of a discussion for today's video. In my past few videos, we have been trying to understand the human psyche and mind better than we had been doing till now, and to find out why any human living entity, whether a male or female, behaves, acts, reacts, and lives in a particular manner in any lifetime in this material world. We are curious to know how the brain or the mass of tissue called brain, safely embedded in the cranium of the gross body of a living entity, reacts in a particular way and why. We know by now that this is because of its choosing and processing some of the vibrations that keep emanating through the previous or the past subtle bodies of causal intelligence, astral mind, and etheric senses, which all initially pass through the mind, which then transmits them to the brain after some initial processing. Here, the brain, which receives 100% of these vibrations from the mind, chooses a percentage of such vibrations according to several factors that guide it in making such choices. When the vibrations are chosen by the brain, it processes those chosen vibrations in such a way that it manages to extract some juice out of such processing, and that juice is percolated down the gross body of every average human living entity, whether male or female, depending upon the quality of such juice. The same human living entity acts, reacts, achieves, produces, destroys, and lives in a particular lifetime in this material world. Here I would like or hasten to add that every human living entity, every average human living entity, whether a male or female, is equipped with four layers of material body, three of which are subtle and one is gross. The three subtle bodies are: first, causal body of intelligence and logic; second, astral body of mind, feelings, and emotions; the third, a body of etheric senses, being five in number, which are sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch; and the fourth, a gross body, which helps this society identify this particular human living entity, whether a male or female. Thus, every average human living entity, regardless of sex, in a lifetime in this material world, is equipped with these subtle bodies, which have their own share of emanations of vibrations from the subtle body, going to the broader sense of the mind, getting some processing there, then being transferred to the brain where these vibrations are taken and some of them chosen to be processed and to have a juice extracted out of them. This process goes on and on and on and has been going on for times immemorial in the case of countless human living entities. Thus, the actions, reactions, destiny, and karma of various human living entities, whether male or female, play a very large part in the creation and maintenance of this universe and this terra firma. Now, while discussing about this theory, we have been trying to study and analyze several case histories which made us understand and authenticate this theory better. In that process, at present, we are talking about one particular protagonist or antagonist called Charles Gurumukh Sobraj. This particular person and all those who had the destiny or karma to be attached to his life directly or indirectly make an interesting study. We have been continuing through this particular very intriguing case history in my past few videos. We shall continue our study of the same case history in this particular video too. At present, we have come to the stage where Charles Gurmukh Sobraj had a very beautiful 18-year-old lass from Vietnam as his mother and a very dynamic, talented, successful, and affluent Indian businessman called Hochand Sobraj as the father. This Charles Sobraj had in, one younger sibling, a sister called Nickel Sobraj. Both of them were real brothers and sisters born to the same parentage of Hochand Sobraj the father and Noi the mother. After a few developments, the father and mother got separated and divorced, and this beautiful Noi married another guy called Yon, who was a soldier in the Vietnam French army. This Frenchman called Yon, along with his new family of actual wife Noi and adopted children Charles Gurmukh Sobraj and Nickel Sobraj, migrated or relocated to France after a bitter stint of a life for a few years in Saigon. Now we shall continue. First, we will talk about the other characters. France was the home country of Yon. Hence, it was not difficult for him to get adjusted to this home country where he had been initially born and was also brought up. Noi had no other alternative but to adjust to her new life as the wife of the same Ayon. Nickel, the younger child of Noi, who was a beautiful girl, decided to take her destiny as a gift from God and chose to get acclimatized to her new surroundings in France. Thus, this girl decided to get adjusted to her new life in France. This shows that all three of them belong to the 75% multitude of society of decent but vegetative kind of human living entities who consider everything that they have to experience in this world as a gift or punishment from his or her destiny. So they had to adjust to the new surroundings in France now. However, the main antagonist or protagonist of this case history, Charles Gurmukh Sobraj, thought differently because he was a natural from the other 20% bracket of humanity in this material world, which worships the dark, negative forces of this material world. This made Charles mentally and physically tough, rebellious, and or irrepressible as a brat. This guy refused to accept what destiny had thrown at him and his own new family. The rebellion in Charles began showing right from the beginning. This guy, who felt that he had been ruthlessly torn out of his own life in Vietnam to which he himself belonged should not be accepted at any cost. So, because he could not live a luxurious life in Vietnam, he rebelled against the mundane life in France and refused to toe the line when he was admitted to some French school. Because of this boy had to face frequent disciplinary actions in his own school. Everyone, including the teachers and the family, was embarrassed by this boy's incorrigible rebellion. One day came when he was ruthlessly plucked out of the same school and was thrown into the juvenile delinquency school in France. The juvenile delinquency school is meant for those incorrigible children who refused to get adjusted to the decent life of their school and who are considered to be a threat to their own school companions and other children. This happened to such an extent that the same Charles Sobraj had to face the legal system in France from the age of 18. But more about it later. This guy remained incorrigible in all those countries where Jean was transferred and he had to take his family to in this world, including in various continents. Here, Noe showed how strict she could be. Though she could not manage to control this Charles, she was strict disciplinarian in the case of other children who she was scared could be influenced by their eldest brother Charles Sobraj and make them some sort of criminals himself. Thus, the other children got straight and went on with their decent, civilized, legal ways of life. However, one of his own younger brother was not so lucky. Probably his own prarabdha karma forced him to worship and emulate Charles Sobrad temporarily. This made that poor boy face several legal disciplinary actions, especially in Greece. However, the experienced legal system could look through this boy and they found that he was not as equipped cerebrally as he looked and as his own deeds in criminal world suggested. They could see that he was under the influence of his elder brother Charles Sobraj. So much so is acceptable, but what intrigues us is that this Charles managed to fall in love with various very unconnected French and other beautiful girls who found him quite interesting and who sooner or later got victimized and controlled by this incorrigible criminal. Some of them are known as Chantal, Jean Leclerc, a Canadian, Chantal, a French, and other girls, including one called Rung, who was from Thailand. All these girls were otherwise from the decent 75% bracket of humanity, but yet, due to some snag in their own destiny, had to fall for the evil charms of Charles Sobraj. However, not everything was lost. There were several very responsible lawmen, lawyers, justices, etc., all over the world who could see through the same handsome but evil Charles Sobraj and they could look through his machinations in such a way that as on a date he has spent a minimum of 75% of his own lifetime in various prisons in Europe and Asia. He has spent decades, years, months, etc., languishing, rotting, and wasting away in various prison systems in this world, including in Greece, Turkey, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Nepal, and the like. But because of his criminality, he has already managed to kill several innocent citizens belonging to the 75% category. A study of the life and times of Charles Sobraj give this watcher of this video a fairly good idea of how a particular average human living entity's brain, mind, ego, and machinations operate. This is all I wanted to talk about in this particular video. Kindly let me know what you think of my talk on this particular subject. Before, please give me your own expert opinions, thoughts, ideas, and views so that I may blend everything together for the sake of this society. Before concluding, let me remind you that I am also a published author with Amazon Kindle and paperback. I write on spiritualism, fiction, and assorted subjects. Spiritualism happens to be my favorite subject. Till we meet again, it is a very good morning from TSV Raghavan.